Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and here at the playground with Elijah right now. Gonna go spend a couple hours here on the swing with him, so give a chance to get today's video out. Today we're going to be talking about why younger anglers are just better anglers. They catch more fish than older anglers. This is something that I've analyzed and thought about for the last 30 years, because at one time I was a young angler and did better than a lot of older anglers. Now guys my age are getting their butts kicked by younger anglers, so we're going to have a conversation on that. So anyway guys, before we get started, just wanted to give you guys a few quick housekeeping tips. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel here, what's going on, one of the best ways you can do it is going by fishthemoment.com, checking out our lake map breakdowns. We got breakdowns, spring lake map breakdowns, all 4 seasons, but spring right now, all the major lakes across the country. And if one of those lakes is not on the list, we can schedule a virtual lesson with you and go over any lake. So I'll put the Fish the Moment link in the description here. And also, time's running out, guys, on my RB2 series Solar Bat sunglasses. During the month of April, got 30% off of them. I'll put the Solar Bat link in the description if you guys like to get you a pair of those. So much appreciated. Hey guys, I'll try to keep an eye on Elijah here while I do the video. Here's the deal why I'm gonna start out right off the bat and explain to you what I saw. And this is I first started thinking about this back in the early 90s. And actually I've told this before a couple times. I started noticing about how a lot of the younger guys, like myself and some of the guys coming up like Jay Ellis at the time he was young, Joe Thomas, those type of guys, and a bunch of other younger guys, it sort of, I didn't understand how we could go out sometimes and beat guys like Larry Nixon or Rick Clunn, because those guys have got so much more experience in it. And then I remember once Kevin Van Dam came on the scene, and Kevin was like 21 years old at the time, kicking everybody's butt. And I went up to Rick and I asked Rick, why is Kevin kicking everybody's butt? And guys that have had 30 years of experience on the water are getting beat by him, because I didn't understand how somebody that only has got 5 or 6 seasons under their belt can beat somebody in fishing that's got 30 years of experience. It just didn't make any sense. And Rick didn't really have an answer at the time, but he's gotten that one now and I've got one now. And what the deal is one of the things I've realized in bass fishing is one of the most famous quotes that Albert Einstein said. One of Einstein's most favorite, quoted quotes is that imagination is more important than knowledge. Guys, there's nothing more true in that statement than in professional fishing, because what happens is I've realized that your creativity and your imagination as an angler outweighs your experience and time on the water, because that is how the universe works. That is how creation works a lot of times, is the fact that we have the ability to manifest some physical realities out of our thought. For example, just look at the light bulb or lamp. Initially, a light bulb and a lamp was just a thought in somebody's mind, creativity and imagination. Eventually that reality physically manifested through different means. It's the same way in bass fishing. It's like when you approach bass fishing from a fresh point of view, almost like a childlike mind, like these kids here in the park right now, they don't have any limitations and prejudices that keep them from holding back on their creativity and imagination. And bass fishing is something that's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, and the techniques and the lures and everything that catch bass are constantly evolving and changing. So one of the things, where does this leave everybody out there, is the fact that when you're younger, when you're in your teens and your 20s, you don't know what shouldn't be working. It's like, for example, my own fishing, I'm so locked in. I've fished for so many years that I know what works. I know when to throw a black and blue jig. I know when to throw a shad pattern crankbait. I know when to throw a certain color of this and that, and when to throw it, because I've caught so many fish doing that. But what happens, that becomes a limitation, because a lot of these younger anglers that are in their 20s and the teens, they don't know any better. They don't know that, you know, you shouldn't, you know, fish a fast moving bait in 40-degree water, or they don't know that a translucent crankbait, you know, is not supposed to work in muddy water. So they try stuff and they experiment with stuff that experience and age does not allow you to do. You have these prejudices and biases, and that's why you see every single angler out there. I don't care if it's Clunn, if it's Larry Nixon, if it's Kevin Van Dam, if it's Jay Yellis, if it's Tommy Biffle, if it's Denny Brower. Every single angler out there, when they get older, they start to go downhill. They don't do as good. And that is exactly why, because they know too much. You know, guys like Denny Brower, they have too much information. They know too much. They've caught so many bass that it's hard to break away, like from Denny flipping that half-ounce black and blue jig in a flooded bush, where some other dude, like you get somebody like Chris Zaldane, he's going to throw like some crazy-looking swim bait around the bushes that we wouldn't have thought about a long time ago. So one of the things that you've got to remember is you've got to maintain that childlike mind your entire life. I don't care what it is. You can't get locked into things that you like to do and that's your favorite things to do. You can, but your performance and your fish catching is going to suffer as a result. And while this may be comforting to the younger anglers listening to this, it's like, you guys are loving to hear this. Don't get too excited about it, because one of these days, you know, if you're 20 years old listening to this video right now and you're killing it, you're getting into tournaments and you're just killing it everywhere, you're going to be an old dude like I am one of these days, and you're going to have the same issues that the other old dudes have, that you're going to have the 20-year-olds when you guys are 60, they're going to be kicking your butts simply because you guys are too locked into the thing that's working for you right now. And that is okay, though. I mean, don't get bent out of shape about it. That is the cycle of life. That's the balance of life. That's the way things are meant to be. It's like every generation should be smarter than the last generation. And that's how we get better as a human species. As we get smarter and we get better and we get wiser and we learn quicker. So reality of the situation is, guys, I'll say right now, younger anglers, they're better than older anglers. I don't care how much experience you guys got. And the reason for that is because of the imagination and creativity. It's not because they know more. It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they work harder. It's because they have a mind that is not cluttered with decades and decades of information and injustices and, you know, good and bad experiences, and, you know, getting, you know, just drugged down by the entire thing that life requires us to get drugged down by. They have a mind that's more like an empty vessel, and that is so important in bass fishing. So, you know, I don't want that to sound, if you're an older guy, making it sound like you're just done for and you can't catch fish. You can still do great fishing your old techniques, and you can still do great fishing the things you love to do. But just try to stay open-minded a little bit as far as technique and approaches. I don't mean staying open-minded by trying stuff like live scope that's not real bass fishing. I'm talking about techniques, lure colors, approaches, casting angles, you know, different presentations, all that type of stuff. So anyway, guys, just wanted to put that out there for today's video. I'm gonna get over here and push Elijah around the swing a little bit. We'll talk later. See you.